Hey, everybody, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. This is a Super Bowl show. I'm your host, Ron Fitch, and we're going to talk all things Super Bowl, all things NBA trade deadline talk. There was news. The NBA kind of nudged the Super Bowl out of the way for a little while. I mean, it's going to be now that the weekend's upon us, it's going to be back to Super Bowl coverage. But the NBA news was hot, so I'm going to talk about both Super Bowl and the NBA. First, the Super Bowl. I'm going to do two sections. One, why the Bengals and Rams got here, and two, the prediction and the breakdown. First, why the Bengals got here. The Bengals got here because of course, Joe Burrow doing what he was supposed to do, Jamar Chase being great, the Bengals being smart, drafting well. They were losing, but they were drafting smartly each year. Then they picked up very good free agents. The Matthew Hilton free agent, who's a very good defensive back, but he's a very good pass rusher, very smart. They got a solid secondary. I'm not crazy about Eli Apple, but he'll make a play or two. They got Fredrickson from the Saints. So they added players, and it showed. And of course, at the end of games, you know Burrow is going to be money. And Joe Burrow, this is the thing, the moment won't mess with him. The Rams will have to get pressure on him. I'll break that in my next segment. I'll break that down. But Joe Burrow is his advertised. I'm going to tell you something about Joe Burrow. When his first year at LSU, their team was mediocre. And my brother loves LSU, and he was like, man, I don't know about Joe Burrow. I said, listen, this kid is great. You might not see it in the record. He's still developing, making a transition from Ohio State. This kid is going to be great. You might not see it now, but you will. Following year, he's unbelievable. Had one of the best years a quarterback ever had in college football history. And he got hurt last year, and this is a rookie year. So second year, I knew he was going to be great. I knew he was going to be where he was. I knew he was Joe Cool. I just felt like some guys get it quicker. Some guys, it takes 4 or 5 years. It took Aaron Rodgers a couple years. He's great. Joe Burrow is great. I don't know if if they're good enough to win the Super Bowl, but they will be in the game, and they're on a magic carpet ride. They believe they're going to win it all. They do remind me of my 2016 Chicago Cubs, where it was just a bad team history. And it was just eradicated for the new guys that didn't care about what was the past and all those bad, terrible losses. And the Bengals had a lot of hood rats. Marvin Lewis had too many hood rats on his team, knuckleheads, and you can't really win with that. These guys that are on the Bengals are focused. And their offense is not, they haven't blown you away offensively, but they make plays when they have to. At the end of the Tennessee game, in the Las Vegas game, against the Chiefs when they were down 21-3, and the Chiefs acted stupidly toward the end of the half, the Bengals took advantage of that before the half. And the Bengals are one of the best screen teams in the league. And the backup running back caught the screen pass for the touchdown. It eludes me. I know their best running back is Mixon, who is really, really good. Joe Mixon, but it was a backup. P-Ryan got the screen pass and scored a 41-yard touchdown. And they're efficient. Like this year, Burrow had 38 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. He has one interception in the playoffs, and it was a bad interception, but it was like, okay, whatever. And what he does underratedly is scramble. And he did that, some tough, big-time scrambles against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter that kept drives alive. He does whatever it takes to keep a drive alive, to score enough points to win the game. But the biggest key for the Bengals is their second half defense. They've given up in the fourth quarter 3 games, 9 points. 3 games, 16 points in the entire second half they've given up. Okay. So Cincinnati, and the one thing, the Rams made a concerted effort to shut down the 49ers by backing away as far as the pass rush and playing run defense. And their scheme was just to not go crazy and leave lanes for the running back because of how good the 49ers were. So they didn't pass rush as strong against Garoppolo, but they will try that with Burrow. But the one thing that the Bengals do have is balance. Mixon could gash you, and that'll win a Super Bowl if there's balance and there's enough time. But that's what made the Bengals. And Burrow didn't care. He got sacked 9 times. And he's like, okay, whatever. He could have got sacked 13 times. It wouldn't have stopped him from doing what he had to do. That means nothing. The pressure means nothing to him. Some guys are just like the Montanas and guys like that are just wired like that, where they could just perform great under pressure. The Rams, Matthew Stafford's been outrageously good. Over 700 yards in these 2 playoff games, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he had the 1 bad throw. And it got dropped by Dort. Everybody talks about, but Michelle has ran well. Akers has ran well. They ran it well, which McVay likes to stay on schedule. So that allows him to run all his plays off the play action, which even if it's not play action, the one thing that's different from Goff, from Stafford, even if it's not play action and a run doesn't work, 3rd and 13, he's got the arm and the talent to give it to Kupp, to get it to Beckham. Beckham's been a godsend, and Higbee, I believe, is playing. So Higbee and their backup tight end's been solid. And Jefferson's kind of snuck in there and been sneaky good. And they'll screen pass it to Akers. But what they've done, they've gotten more physical on offense. The lines of scrimmage from the first 49 game where they got blown away till now, they play a lot tougher. And it started with Tampa. They pushed Tampa around. They made a lot of goofy mistakes to make that a good game, a close game. But it didn't matter. They're home. They're feeling good about themselves. Aaron Donald wants this badly. That is big. They're a veteran team that just wants this badly. And that's why I picked them early in September when people are like, nah, I like Dallas. I like 49ers, I like Green Bay. I'm like, nope, I'm staying with the Rams. Even no matter what criticism I get, I'm staying with the Rams. And they proved me right. And we'll see what happens in the Super Bowl. But the Rams as a team, McVay is on a mission because he coached a lousy. He got undressed by Belichick in that last Super Bowl. A lot of these guys are still there, and they have a bitter taste in their mouth, and they are desperate. The Bengals feel like it is their destiny to win, and they're on a magic carpet ride. No matter what happens, at the end of the game, they'll figure out a way to win. The Rams are on a mission to win, so something has to give. All right, now let me break this down. I'm not Greg Cosell, the best person to ever do it when it comes down to break it down to NFL. He's the former broadcaster, Howard Cosell's nephew. He's one of the best NFL experts. There's a lot of great ones, but I will break this game down as best as I know. And I will tell you the keys to this game. You look at the Rams offense. Let's look at the Bengals offense first. They're one of the better screen teams in the league. And everybody's talking about, well, the Bengals offense cannot block Aaron Donald and Floyd and Von Miller. And Aaron Donald is on a mission. He is that I'm hearing about him in practice. He's tearing it up. He wants this ring badly. So what Aaron Donald's going to do, and this is a bigger problem, it's not that he gets a quarterback. It's all the double teams he's got. You got to double him with your line, unless you're one of your linemen have the game of his life. Aaron Donald. So now you got to deal with Von Miller. Maybe we have to, if Uzama is healthy, and that's big, Higbee and Uzama's health is huge, both tight ends. But if you have to put in a running back to chip Von Miller, okay, we're going to pay extra attention to Von Miller. We're going to pay attention to Aaron Donald. Floyd could have MVP numbers. Okay, you're going to single Floyd with our inferior left tackle or right tackle. He could come off the edge and just cause havoc and be the unsung hero this entire game. So that you have to look at it from that standpoint. I also think that what the Bengals are going to have to do, they're going to have to run like Mixon and Akers are very good running backs who haven't had breakout games. They need Mixon to run it enough that's going to bother the Rams, where now you can't pin your ears back and get after Burrow. Because the Rams were concerned enough about the Niners that they didn't get after the Niners. They played run defense. I think they only sacked Garoppolo once. Bengals would love that, but I think the Rams going to get after the Bengals, and they've run. Rams, I believe they're averaging under 50 yards per rush a game, even with a great running team like the Niners. And they're going to have to do that to Mixon and P-Ryan. But like I said, the screen pass game, in the second half against Kansas City, they ran shorter slants for T. Higgins and Chase. And Ramsey and Chase is one of the bigger matchups of the entire Super Bowl. If Chase can get off a little bit where that's a problem, if Ramsey's guarding them and bottling them up, or Chase is getting a catch here and a catch there and not going crazy, now you could kind of focus your attention. And this is big. You could focus your attention on the rest of those dudes that can hurt you. And that's going to be a key. And how does the Rams have been beaten by teams that the intermediate game, like when Higgins was catching crossing routes against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's part of the Rams' weakness. And I'm just interested in how they're going to play because I know Jalen Ramsey is going to guard Chase a lot of the times. Darius Williams is 5'9". If you put Darius Williams, he's a pretty good corner, but if you put Darius Williams out on T. Higgins, you better give out help. Because if there's a situation where the Rams come after Burrow, they don't get to him, and it's T. Higgins versus Williams. T. Higgins is winning, and that could be a disaster. So the Rams, they have to put pressure on Burrow, or the Bengals will win the game. They have to have 4+ sacks. And when they get Burrow in trouble, they got to put him on the ground. Like you saw what happened with the Chiefs where they didn't tackle Burrow. Burrow's a very smart, very good, and very quick scrambler. So if it's 3rd and 10 and he sees an open, he's getting the 10 yards if you don't stop him. So that's a problem too. But Ramsey and Chase is huge. That's the biggest matchup. The offensive line, I know the Bengals have heard about the offensive line getting beat up, what the Rams are going to do to them. So I think Zach Taylor's going to do short passes, but I also think he's going to go deep. With Boyd, I think he's going to say, listen, just give Burrow time. We're not just going to go short passes and play in fear. We're going to go for it too. So I also think that they're going to, and they're as explosive as they come. The Rams and the Bengals are two explosive teams with two sneaky good defenses. But the Rams are a better defensive team because the Rams are 5th in the entire NFL in defensive efficiency. So that's to tell you they're just solid across the board, solid linebacking. Jalen Ramsey on the back end just made all the other players better. And that gives me pause about how the Bengals are going to move the ball. And this is another problem. The Bengals better correct or they're going to get beat up by the Rams. The Bengals were in the red zone in the playoffs 11 times. They scored 4 touchdowns. So if you're kicking field goals, you're playing soccer on the Rams' home turf, that's going to be a problem. They're going to have to cash in. And then what they like to do is the fade route when they're at the goal line with Chase. I'm not doing that with Chase and Ramsey because you're taking a chance Ramsey's going to pick you off. Yeah, Chase might get him, but it's not worth it. But you have T. Higgins on the other side of Boyd. I would try that because they're going to have to put the ball in the end zone. And can Mixon give you those strong power? Mixon is a lot better in the second half. That's something that should concern the Rams. He's a better runner in the second half. Look at the touchdown. Look how he ran against the Chiefs late. Look at the touchdown he had against the Titans. And both teams can have money kickers. Which kicker's going to be out of character and make a bad miss? That's going to be interesting too. But for offense, defense, The Rams with their pressure could be a problem, but if they don't get home with their 4, it's advantage Bengals. And I wonder how the Rams this week deal with because the Bengals are one of the better screen pass teams like the Chiefs, but it's different variations. They might have a quick screen to P. Ryan, or they might set you up where you're coming in with the pass rush and they invite you in, and then they lob it over the top where Mixon catches the ball, and he's so good at running after the catch. And then another problem is I noticed something about Jamar Chase. He has this route where he fakes like he's going to do a long seam route straight down the sideline. He does a quick twitch where he turns that into a slant route. And there are times when he's faked the cornerback, caught that slant route, and he's so good with yards. He has over 700 yards with yards after the catch. He's gone. And the Rams can't afford that. You better tackle him. If Ramsey does get beat, there better be Eric Waddle, the big pickup. Better be there to make sure that you get Chase on the ground, or his head is going to be at the goal line. So those are the issues the Rams have to deal with. But I gave you the issues the Bengals have to deal with. Now we look at from the other side. The Bengals have a nice secondary with Awuzie and Apple's pretty good. He gets burned sometimes, but he makes plays too. Matthew Hilton is a terrific blitzer. He's very smart. And then they have a lot of nice pieces. They got a nice pass rush. And they also have Jesse Bates III, who's really good. He's their young star. You know, they got Fredrickson, a great free agent. Awuzie, Fredrickson, and Matthew Hilton were great pickups with this young team. You go get those veterans that help are big, very, very big. BJ Hill gets sacks to go along with Fredrickson. So they're coming in off the edge, and they got three-man rush. They ran plays where they had three-man rush and they got sacks on the Chiefs. That can't happen against the Rams, so the Rams get beat. And Matthew Stafford at times, if he gets pressure, may throw a bad pass. He's not as accurate deep when he's pressured. But when he's not pressured, he throws the most deadly, amazing deep ball. Some of the deep balls he threw to Beckham were just ridiculous. And Jefferson. Jefferson's sneaky important in this game because everybody's talking about Beckham. And I do think Beckham's going to have, this stage is what he wants. So he likes this stage. And Beckham's, if they double, triple Cooper Kupp in their zones and they man Beckham up, Beckham will cook Eli Apple. He will cook Awuzie. Cook him. That's a problem. So that means that the Bengals got to get home. Don't even worry about getting Beckham cooking Eli Apple if Stafford's on his rear end. But that's a problem. And then Blanton is the backup tight end. I like what the Rams use different variations. I saw a play where the Rams did a flea flicker, and you think they're going to go deep. They do a screen pass to Blanton. He got big chunk yards off of that. So, and I think McVay is going to dial up some good plays. He had a bad Super Bowl. He was tight. People get on about his misuse of timeouts and how tight he could be, but I just think that experience of being battle tested is going to help dial up the plays. And I'm going to tell you something else to look for. This is real important. When you listen to this, you like and just subscribe, I would have greatly appreciated it because I want to give out truthful and solid content every time. Watch out for, especially with the Rams, for the trick play. Odell Beckham, he's a good passer. Odell Beckham catching the ball out of the backfield, throwing the deep ball to Kupp or to Jefferson. Maybe have Kupp be a decoy and then have Jefferson sprint down the field and then Odell Beckham throw it to him for a touchdown. Watch out for he's got one or two plays that the Bengals haven't seen on tape or they haven't used as much. And I think the Rams are going to do that. That's going to be big. But another key, you look at Mixon on that the Bengal side, but Cam Akers and Michelle, just 5 here, 6 there, not being bottled up, because what that does, it takes away the Bengals, because the Bengals are a very good second half defensive team where they make good adjustments. The Bengals gave up in 3 games only 13 points in the second half. And in the fourth quarter, they've only given up 6 points. And that was to the Raiders the first playoff game. They have shut out the Chiefs. Oh, well, they held the Chiefs to 3, and they shut out the Titans, I believe. I want to look again. But they gave up, 16 points in 3 games in the second half. 16 points. So the Rams better get the lead. And also, you better not have Burrow with the ball at the end of the game. So as far as the Rams offense is concerned, they're going to have to eat up some clock and be efficient, but they gotta run the ball. The Bengals are pretty good with the run. Now they got lit up by the Chiefs, but they weren't paying attention to the Chiefs running game. They were worried about the passing game. I think they're going to make a concerted effort to make sure Michelle and Akers don't go crazy, but you also got to deal with Kupp. And another thing about Kupp, you could double. This guy is having one of the greatest seasons. He has a chance to break Larry Fitzgerald's postseason record as far as receptions and touchdowns. He's just amazing. But one thing about Kupp, he's the best route runner in the entire NFL. They put him in a slot. They put him outside. They put him in the backfield. They put him in the Z formation. They put him in the Y formation. They put him in every single formation you could think of. So now, how do you deal with him? And then I saw the Niners blitz, man for man. Stafford saw it. Stafford's lighting blitzes up. Stafford saw it, through the short slant pass to Kupp, and he was off to the races. And Kupp is one of the better. He's strong. He's one of the better players, because you're talking about Chase being good after the catch. Kupp is one of the best players after the catch in the league. And he'll punch in the mouth when it comes to blocking too. And that makes their offense more physical. And that gives the lane, that opens up the lanes for Akers and Michelle. Like I said, if they could run it just enough to make the Bengals defense be a little more vanilla. Now you got to come up a little at the line of scrimmage. Okay, we're getting ran on. Because not like the Chiefs. The Chiefs are impatient. The Rams will just run on you, run on you, run on you. Even with all these weapons they got outside, McVay will be like, okay, I'll run and run. You better come up and stop it. Okay, I'll just run till we get in the end zone. And then the Bengals will have to come up in a little more vanilla formation. Now the Kupp and Beckham can eat. And Higbee, if he's healthy, and Blanton. And Blanton is that X factor. And Jefferson. So, okay, we're gonna pay attention to Beckham and Kupp. Now Jefferson can hurt you. And McVay will do that. Now this is the deal. Burrow's not going to be afraid of moment. The Rams have to make sure Burrow doesn't have the ball at the end of the game. Say, for instance, the Rams have the lead. They have like a 4-point lead with 4 minutes left. Better take up you better run a 4-minute offense. And you better run clock. And you better be in victory formation. Because if you give him any kind of time, Bengals will win. I'm going to roll the dice. The Rams have a veteran team. I'm picking the Rams. Would not be surprised all the Bengals win, because the Bengals are on that kind of magic carpet ride. The Rams are on a mission. They are desperate to win because of the reputations of all Stafford and McVay. And then can Aaron Donald get that ring that he wants so desperate? Von Miller could increase his legacy, and all the Jalen Ramsey could get a ring that elevates his status as far as the great cornerbacks has played this game. So it's a line. The Bengals lose, okay. I mean, whether it's next year or year after, we got Burrow, so we're going to get a lot of more cracks at it. If we win, that's gravy. Now we can really put together what the Chiefs did. But if they lose, the Rams lose at home, it's going to be that's tough. But I just think they're going to win because Chiefs got a great offense, but the Rams have a great veteran offense. I just think they're going to figure out a way. It's a close game. The Rams will take care of business, and McVay will get his Super Bowl ring. It will not be easy. Like I said, I will not be surprised at all if the Bengals win. And if all bets are off, if Burrow has that ball at the end of the game, then the Rams will more than barring a unforeseen mistake by Burrow, which I doubt, then the Bengals will win. But I just think Stafford's going to make the plays. He's been great all playoffs. 1 interception, 8 touchdowns. He's been great all playoffs, and that's going to continue. All right, I just watched the Brooklyn Nets lose by 1 to the Washington Wizards. I want to talk about the big trade because there's a lot of trades that happen, but I like what the Bucks did. I like how they improved their team. Ibaka, that was a nice slick move. A veteran backup center to back up Giannis. That was well done. But the main trade was James Harden going to Philadelphia and Ben Simmons and Curry and Drummond going to the Nets. Now, this could help both teams or it could hurt both teams. Let's start with the Sixers. James Harden did not want to play. This is the second time doing this. He didn't want to play for the Nets because of with Kyrie and all that, what was going on with the laws in New York and the mandates and all that. And he was frustrated because Durant's hurt and he just said, I don't want to be here no more. Well, it happened to Houston. He said, I don't want to be here no more. But this is why it could help the Sixers with Thibault and all those. They got some dudes to go along with Embiid, who's playing the best basketball of his life. He's in a little better shape. He was great, but out of shape. He looks like he's a little more agile and a little more in shape. So I'm kind of liking where he is mentally. He is averaging 29 points a game, 4 assists, and about 11 rebounds. And he's hitting almost 2 3-point shots a game, which he does. He goes inside, but he can score. He can hit the bank shot. He can pass. He is clearly the MVP. Giannis is close. With Harden and Embiid, you could create that. A lot of the great, all the way going back to Oscar Robertson and Kareem and Magic and Kareem and a lot of the great Kobe and Shaq, Parker and Duncan and Parker and those guys, and they didn't win, but Penny Hardaway and Shaq, the great perimeter and great power center symmetry that of the great all-star guy, like when Julius Erving and Moses teamed up, that great guy, that combination, because Harden is a slick scorer passer. He's one of the best. They don't make the call. They change the rules where he's not getting those little ticky-tack sneaky calls he gets, but he knows how to run the pick and roll. He knows how to get the others involved. He knows how to get his. Defensively, he gets steals. He doesn't play. He gets rebounds. He'll get some steals, but they got so many other great defenders. That's not going to be a problem. The only thing I'm concerned about is his weight. He just looks like he was really out of shape last year and then got into decent shape. But this year, that's probably why he has hamstring problems. And could that linger? Because a lot of people are saying, well, he had hamstring problems, but he could have played, but he didn't want to play for the Nets. But if that's a problem, that weight is not going to help. And that could rear its ugly head in the playoffs again. He pulls his hamstring, and now you don't have Curry's 3-point shoot and Drummond's rebounding. Now you're just by yourself. But if he's healthy and can get in a little better shape, the Sixers could come out of the East because you got 2 stars you can go to instead of 1. The Sixers had 1 star last year, and they had a lot of good role players because Simmons didn't play like a star. So what I think is going to happen is Harden be very motivated. You know why? If he doesn't win a championship, even if he gets to the finals and loses, if he doesn't win And they said, well, he's not a good playoff performer. He can't. Look what he did. His legacies, yeah, he was a great scorer, and his numbers are ridiculous in this offensive era. But the other problem is, look at the shenanigans, the issues in Houston, the issues with Howard, the issues with Chris Paul, the issues with Westbrook, which a lot of people has, the issues with Kyrie Irving. It's just, okay, you better win. You better come out there and give it your all. And you can't throw casual passes, which sometimes he has a tendency to do in the playoffs. You better be, especially them Philly fans. Philly fans are not crazy about the trade. I like it if he's healthy and in better shape. I like the trade for a Sixers standpoint. You got the stars, because Embiid and Harden, they know what they're doing, and they're going to work out. The chemistry will be quickly. They'll be just fine. I just believe that in my heart. They'll be just fine offensively. Defensively, Doc Rivers will coach them up. He'll figure that out. It's just that his health, and he has not had a good history of performing in the playoffs, so that he's got some winning and he's got some proving to do, and he'd probably be motivated to do it. So that's the advantage. I told you the disadvantage about his weight issues, because he's slightly overweight, and that could kind of trickle down into hamstring problems. But if he's healthy, they got the dudes to go at Milwaukee. Embiid is the guy that could go toe to toe with Giannis and stare at him and go, I could get you. That would be an interesting series if they played in the conference finals or in the playoffs. Giannis will just bum rush and bully and destroy everybody in the interior, because he's playing so much better after the finals. He's more efficient and just solid. But Embiid is coming for his throat. And that'll be two dogs out there just tearing each other up in the finals. But the Sixers got a guy that can go after him. So now Harden could be excellent, and maybe he cancels out the others that the Milwaukee has on the team, the Holidays and all that. Could that be? But like I said, is he going to be in shape? He's going to be motivated, but can he stay healthy? Now, on the Nets side, they're losing that big three field that was going to lead them to the championship. And I said my issues with the mask mandate and all that stuff, but I got a feeling that, because I'm looking at the laws and how things are going, I have a feeling when the summertime comes, they're going to do something. They're going to give some type of exception with Kyrie. Kyrie's not budging on how he feels, and he's gotten a lot of blame for issues. And Kyrie's been, as far as on the court, he's been all in. Last year, he took days off, and he wasn't, well, for whatever reason, he was going through internal issues mentally. But this year, he's been all in when he's on the road. And if you allow him to play at home, the Nets are going to be so much better. He's playing well. He's in. I just think Harden didn't want to deal with whatever laws and issues in Brooklyn, and he didn't want to live there. He feels like it's probably more freer in Philadelphia for whatever reason. But that being said, I'll give you the negative, and I'll give you the positive. Negative is you don't have that third go-to guy, because Ben Simmons is not that kind of guy. He's a great passer. He doesn't shoot the free throws well. And then Drummond is a good piece. They got pieces in Kyrie and Kevin. And Kevin's got to be healthy. Durant's got to be healthy. They have to figure out that he's got to play at home. He's got to play the whole playoffs if they have any type of chance to get to the finals. If not, I don't think they'll be able to beat the Bucks. I don't even know if they'll beat Philly. And another negative before I get to the positives. I was talking to a Sixer fan. He said, well, Harden's going to get booed when he comes to the Brooklyn. It'll be a little light boo. When Ben Simmons, if they play in the playoffs, and Ben Simmons goes back to Philadelphia, he's going to need security. You're going to get threatened. The fans, I covered a couple of Sixer games. Those fans are crazy. I listen to WIP. Those fans even when he was on the team for years, they despise Ben Simmons. I got to put an extra emphasis. They despise Ben Simmons. Now you see the picture here with me and Ben. When I covered him in high school, great kid when he was there. I don't know him in the pros, so I can't make any judgment, but I will tell you this. Those are the negatives with the Nets. I'm going to tell you the positives. Ben is the fourth guy because Drummond will score. They have other guys that could put the ball in them. So being that fourth guy, he could kind of hide, and if he worked those free throws, he's got to make some free throws. And if he could score a little bit on the inside, that's all the Nets need, because they got so many other, KD and Kyrie could just carry him. And Ben's passing and his instinct together is involved, and his ability to rebound and be big is really big. And then getting Drummond, I thought the Sixers shit that gave up Drummond. Drummond is going to be the best friend of Kevin Durant and Kyrie. He is the best offensive rebounder in the entire sport. And those extra possessions in the playoffs with Kyrie, and if you get Joe Harris and Curry, which they got, adding, and you're scrambling. Say, for instance, you guard Kevin Durant perfectly. He misses a shot. Drummond gets the offensive rebound. He kicks it out to Curry, or if Joe Harris is healthy, bam, three. Those could be killer points at the end of games. And he can score inside, and he's strong. And the Nets kind of were a little bit of a donut. They didn't have that strong guy. Because I remember when Drummond was on the Lakers, he destroyed the Nets in the one game. And now he's on the Nets. That's big. That's really, really, really big. That's going to help defensive-wise with the rebound. Now you got rebounds now. So you just need KD being healthy. He'll come back. And you got to get Kyrie those home games. They got to figure smarter and more intelligent minds in the political and NBA and Brooklyn Net realm need to come together, come up with a smart, safe solution to put him on the court. Okay, I said that. Now, they could come out of the East if Drummond and Simmons gives you the interior to kind of do a decent job on Giannis, because they had the Bucks beat with KD and a limbering Harden. If it was the toe shot where his toe touched on the line, but they have the team because of the other side. I watched against the Wizards tonight. They really balled out, and they got a lot of nice pieces. But Curry, I didn't need Joe Harris, because now you got snipers on both sides. You got snipers. You got the Curry, who's a very good playoff three-point shooter, by the way. Played well in Portland, played well last year with the Sixers. I believe he was on Dallas, who played well at Dallas in the bubble. So you know what you're getting out of him when the playoffs come. Now, Joe Harris wasn't as good in the playoffs. Maybe he comes back and gives you, with the pressure being off, him not being the best three-point shooter on the team, the pressure's off. But they got a lot of other guys I do like as far as just nice role players. The Nets, if they are not hurting from that scoring, from losing Harden scored, if they could have the right chemistry, they could come out of the East. But it's still the Milwaukee's, because Milwaukee's playing with a special mental toughness that I didn't know if they'd be hungry. They're hungrier than they were last year. As far as the West, the Lakers didn't make a move because it's a lost season. I think the best thing LA could do to give them a chance to be a contender next year, and with LeBron has a couple more years left before he's done, the best thing that could happen with LA would be to try to get Bradley Beal next year. You start to make play. You play this year out. See which young players develop. Even if they develop so good, they're good trade bait. Let Monk be the third guy. Bring Russell Westbrook off the bench and let Russ cook, and see what he could do with that. Maybe he could up that 28% shooting percentage, and then next year you put all your chips at the table and see, and be smart. Pelinka's got to be the GM. You can't have LeBron picking his friends or whatever. Pelinka and LeBron have to talk about that, and all the management, have a smart pickup. Whether you could steal a Buddy Hield or a Bradley Beal, you have to get one more young, budding, potential third wheel, not superstar, but star. And I think that would give him a chance. But that's neither here nor there because I have to write them off. I got to talk about the teams, Phoenix and Golden State. Phoenix is the team to beat. They're playing. It seems like Phoenix and Milwaukee are in another collision course, but it comes down to Wiseman and Draymond Green being healthy. They're a donut right now. I watched them lose to Utah, where Utah was just a little tougher. Memphis beat them up at the end of the fourth quarter physically. Draymond Green and Wiseman coming back is super important to go along with Looney. That allows the Pools and the Porters, of course, Curry and Thompson, that allows those guys on the perimeter to not have to just shoot their way in and out of game. They have to kind of, because they've been going 3-point shot happy. They have to kind of go inside out at times to maintain that offensive balance because they're such a terrific passing team. So that's the key for them to have any chance against the Suns is they got to have somebody for 8, and they got to have a little more physical presence to be able to compete with what Phoenix is bringing to the table, because Phoenix is playing with a high. Of course, you got CP3 still dialing it up, playing as good as you can play, period. Of course, you're going to have they're going to be contenders. But I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be interesting. They're 4 ahead of Golden State. They're 44-10. The last 10 games, the Suns are 9-1. So they're just sizzling right now. They're as hot as the state of Arizona. But Golden State, I don't think it's important that they get home field as much as they become an entire team that's healthy. And that's going to be the key. Memphis is going to have a lot to say. Can Ja Morant hit jump shots in the playoffs? He has in the regular season. They back off, like Utah backed off and dared him to shoot. If he hits enough jump shots to open the lane, as spectacular as he is, and the way the rest of their team is playing, it feels like Memphis, Golden State, and Phoenix are the teams in the West.